Good evening, everybody, and welcome once again to the wide world of tabletop gaming. Brian Martin with you, and tonight we're going to take a look at another helper that I've built. Now, we're not here for the helper. We're really here for lessons I've learned about this helper that are different than I've learned before, and I want to share those things with you. And it has to do with macros and buttons and how you can now program macros into Excel. And I think you could always do this. I just discovered it recently by making clickable cells. And here's what I mean. When you have a button, and none of these are buttons, by the way, but if this was a button, say, this reset button, in a traditional macro related thing, you'd have a button, you'd assign the macro to that button, and then that when you mouse over it, it turns into a little finger and you click it to activate the macro. Macros are, unless you want to do a lot of advanced programming, macros are not reversible. As soon as they happen, they're done. The problem with the button is you can actually hit a button you don't mean to hit, which means you've either advanced a play, added some stats, recalculate stuff, maybe even reset the game back to its original state. Then there's no getting that around because it erases everything. So what I discovered, and I'll show this to you here in Developer, is I discovered, thanks to the magic of AI, which is great for creating code. I asked it, is there a way to make a cell clickable? And the response is yes. And I will make sure that a copy of this particular, it's a little short 4-line thing. I'll put it in the comments so you can have it and see it and use it. It is called the if not intersect function. And so basically what it has is, I'll read it here. If not intersect, and then parenthesis target comma range, then you put a range in, is nothing. Then cancel equal true, and then call swap A1. That's my macro. So what this does is, this little section here where it says range, little section right here, allows me to define a range of cells that will be clickable. Double click. And when that happens, I put this call in here, call whatever, then run that macro. So instead of assigning the macro to the button, you assign it to a range of cells. And the thing that makes this interesting to use is this. This is my clock. It's a timing device, obviously, but it also serves as a button. So this range has been defined. It is range AJ through AS. So you have to just find this whole range of cells here that you've merged together. AJ through AS. So bring the thing over here. Put it up in the corner. And it says, where's AJ through AS? Gotta find it. Helps if you can find it, Brian. Oh, here it is. Intersect range AJ2 through AS3. That's that block. And then I put call advanced clock. Now, over in my modules is my advanced clock, which says add 1 to the value in this cell and add 1 to the value in that cell, and the clock then advances. So I say, well, where are these macros? When you get these, you have to write them for the sheet. So you double click the Mac on the VBA project here. Just double click it and open up this window, and you have to put the macros in the sheet you want to create the clickable buttons on. So that means if I wanted to go to another page and create clickable buttons, I can. Unique to that page, with unique ranges to that page. It may call the same 1 or 2 or set of macros, but it's still, that is unique to that area. So when we do that, I'll pull this back here, and I double click on this button, you'll notice that the clock now says it has incremented down by 2 minutes and 30 seconds. There's a counter here that's really for my benefit. And the new set of plays that came through are now visible. This button, this block, is defined by defining the range AD8, that's this cell here, to AY9, that's this cell here. That whole thing, and you have to merge the cell. This now becomes, it does record play. On my tracker, I keep track of all the plays that are run. So I'm going to double click this. Now right now, notice on the tracker, it shows the last time I played one, it was end of quarter, and it was numbers 21.1 and 21.2. Now we double click the button. The play stays on the screen, that's fine. It only advances because the dice advance by the click of a button. I go to my tracker, and now 22.2 and 22.1, 22.2, and this is all the data related to that last play that allows me to then create various reports, like the action report. This is saying this is all the things that happen in the game. For those of you unfamiliar with what I've got here, this is Lacrosse Blast Express that I have created a helper for. And for the fans of play games who know what Lacrosse Blast Express, or at least have heard of it, I know what you're thinking. You took a game that was already built to be played very, very quickly, and you wanted to digitize it so you could play it faster. And I have to say, yeah, I did. But you got to remember, my goal in replays is not just to enjoy the games, and I certainly do. It's to create a season and a narrative. It's to follow the ups and downs of not only players but teams, follow the pennant race or the playoff push through to the end. I'm all about numbers. Numbers, numbers, numbers. How do we know this? Because if you go all the way to these blue pages here, you will see all of the numbers that I keep in playing. For someone who wants to do a lot of number crunching, and that's the ultimate goal of my replays, is to do number crunching and to have continuous seasons, I do make these helpers. Again, as with every helper, not able to give it away, not able to share it, not able to do anything with it, because it contains the information from the actual game charts. I'm not going to show you those because I've promised Keith I would not do that. I'm showing the concept of how you build these macros to be able to be made into buttons that you can click. The advantage of these is you have to double click it to activate it. You're not going to accidentally do something unless you're just really not paying attention. So for example, I'm going to go to the next thing here. And there's a play that Houston scored 2 goals, so I record that, and the game's now 13-13. Now there's a quality check. I'm working on the bottom of this here, and I'm going to show you how to create a range simply by redoing one of these buttons here at the bottom. Whenever there's a check and these players are selected, they are highlighted on the screen so that I can swap the player cards, just like you do on the tabletop. So right now, Cody Porter. This is non-clickable. The yellow is. Swap. Now it's Austin McCarthy. Right now, this is a blue clickable. Mike Rafferty is on the field. Now Austin Bucktooth is there. So I'm going to show you how you can even play with these after you've built them. So right now, this is a macro built from AB37 AI37. So I'm going to find it up here. It's right here. It's this one right here. Okay. We'll change it in a second. It is currently 8 cells wide. I'm going to make it 4. And I'm going to merge and center. Then I'm going to make the other one 4. So I'm doing 2 things at once. I'm going to just type in swap here. And I'm going to do equal H1. And what that does is it shows every time I hit advance this, it moves the counter so that it knows who to flip. And it tells me how many times that position has been flipped. This is number 3. So I know it's back to the next one will take me back to the first guy on the stack. But it's a way to see how often these are done. And it's amazing in a game you can get playing and realize maybe one position didn't swap all game. You never rolled a 4. You never rolled a black 4, or you never rolled a white 5, whatever. Now what I do is that macro that's here is now AB to AE. So where it said AB to AI, I'm going to go in and change that I to an E and delete the I. And now only this half of the cell works. If I double click this one, it's like double clicking a normal functioning cell. You just get the formula. I double click this one and watch. Austin Bucktooth becomes Mike Rafferty. And so that's how you can take and make your bigger buttons smaller, smaller buttons bigger. Every time you change the range, you have to change the range here. And those macros are found on sheet macros. These modules are your generic ones that run from any page. You can use them anywhere. These macros that we have here that are built in are only for that page. You can't double click another, you can't set up another one of these cells and assign a macro to it. You can't, you have to do it. So you could have macros, you could have the same set of macros here and here and here. And then on those sheets, you'd have to have those cells to be buttons. And those buttons can call different macros than the originals. So you could have this set of cells right here on every single page be some sort of clickable, but it doesn't have to be a clickable that's the same. It can be a clock on the first page. It can be a roster lookup on the second. It can be a schedule jumbler on the third. It can be a dice roller. So for example, set dice is a button. When I reset the game, I double click. All of the tracker is wiped away clean. All of the scores are reset to 0. And then when I double click the dice, my dice are set. If you remember in my helpers, I roll the dice as independent random numbers. Then I copy and paste those values, and those dice are then fixed in stone. That means as I click this each time, it rolls the dice one time, moving down the list. So the outcome of this game is actually kind of predestined. The rolls will happen in the order that they do, and whatever happens in terms of what gets swapped and what doesn't will maybe change certain outcomes in the game, but the game is already decided. I have no idea. That's why I play them. But this is a way to do stuff that will make it easy for people. Because I know one of the things that people do talk about, I've gotten emails about, I've been asked questions about, is all those buttons, dude, how do you make them all? Well, you can copy, paste, and all that stuff. But a lot of times when I was doing that, I was inadvertently leaving macros on them. And I would inadvertently hit the button while I was designing, and all of a sudden a macro ran that I didn't want to run. So having them in cells allows you to, the double click means you're not going to unintentionally do something you didn't want to do by accident. If you double click something intentionally, but you double click the wrong thing, that's different, but you still have to double click. So maybe after that first click, your eyes go, oh, I don't want to hit the reset button. So I click it once, nothing happens. If I let it sit, I can click it again, nothing happens. But if I double click it fairly quickly, it will reset. So this is a new type of macro. These commands have been around for a long time. I just never asked the question about, can you make a cell clickable? I always assumed they were buttons because that's how I learned it. Everything has to be assigned to a button, and it doesn't have to be that way. So this is a new thing for you to look at and enjoy. I will copy one of these in the comment section on YouTube, and you can take a look at it, copy it into your next gaming project. Doesn't have to be a helper. It could be some other project that you want to create a clickable cell instead of using a button. So again, I thank all of you for watching as usual. Life is nice. My friend Jeff Ring. Life is nice when you're rolling dice. So please keep rolling them dice so your life stays nice. And until the next time we meet, This is Brian Martin saying, so long, everybody.